Yeah, my face. I don't even know. I'm not really sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Summer 2025 Agriculture Conference, where we will cover topics ranging, ranging from global food security to solar fertility. My name is Afi Alvar, a rising incubator at Skyview Middle School. I'm passionate about biology and chemistry and aspire to be a dermatologist. I've been playing the violin, singing, and painting for many years and have many recognitions in the arts. Currently, I'm working towards competitive figure skating and in the past have played a number of other sports. I've won many awards at WSSCF for my research projects, qualified for nationals and NSF, won first overall at Science Olympiad Regionals, in which I also won 2 individual medals, and much, much more. I'm certified in Python and CPR and more, and I've been recognized for over 100 volunteer hours this year alone from the NJHS chapter in my school, alongside other special recognitions. In my free time, I'm working on writing a book. My name is Kapisha Aurora, a rising seventh grader at Maywood Middle School, and I'm deeply passionate about STEM, artificial intelligence, and art. And I've been exploring these fields throughout competitions and creative projects since third grade. My academic journey has been marked by numerous achievements, which include multiple awards in math competitions, like the NSF Math League, which I was a national finalist, Math to School State Level, Mathcon National Finalist, B-Star National Silver Medal. I also received the Best Mathematician Award in my school. I also participated in the science fair and received first place award and a special award in the math category. My interest in technology has led me to success in robotics and coding competitions. I was part of the team in the FLL and received the Breakthrough Award. I also reached the finals of the ACSL Hackathon, showcasing my programming and problem solving skills. In addition to STEM, I have a strong appreciation for art and creativity. I was named a district achiever in the Reflections program from 2022 to 24 and the state achiever in 2025. I've also won my school's bookmark contest and the yearbook cover contest for designing the best line illustration. I also have a deep interest in music. I play piano and have completed 4 years of playing with Trinity College of London. I'm also a dedicated athlete and team player. I enjoy badminton, tennis, and especially cricket. I played for teams under 13 where I've earned several championships. I'm Vihan Malbari. I'm the rising sixth grader at Sacramento. I'm driven by my deep curiosity for the world. My academic passions lie in the fields of math, physics, biology, and earth science. My creative pursuits are reflected in my long-standing engagement with the arts. I've dedicated many years to playing the piano and painting, with my work in both areas being recognized and rewarded. In the realm of science and engineering, I have a strong record of success. I've earned awards at the WSSCF and qualified for the national competition at the NSF. Additionally, I've twice participated in the first ever league, also known as FLM, leading my team to victory once as a captain. My competitive spirit extends beyond academics and athletics. I'm a dedicated competitive soccer player and have also explored other sports including track and field, where I've achieved numerous awards.
Hi, my name is Jolie Scoria, and I'm a rising junior at Texas High School. I'm interested in agriculture, environmental science, and biology, and I've participated in competitions such as Envirothon, Science Olympiad, and NOSA. I'm also a singer and dancer, and have performed on many stages worldwide. I'm here in the year in Tennessee today.
Let's give a round of applause for the leaders of the conference who all bring their show on the road. We are thrilled to have you here. We are honored to welcome our keynote speaker. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Satya S.S. Narina. Dr. Satya S.S. Narina is a distinguished horticultural scientist, educator, and author with over 2 decades of contributions to research and academic publishing. With roots in traditional farming family in Konaseema, Andhra Pradesh, India, she earned Science from the prestigious Indian Agricultural Research Institute in New Delhi. Her career began with a focus on improving minor tuber crops. It evolved into research on nutritionally important and emerging crops with institutions such as Virginia State University, USDA-ARS, and NRCS. Dr. Narina is deeply committed to connecting agricultural innovation with human health and environmental sustainability. She has authored scientific publications for several journals and books with renowned publishers including CRC Presses Springer, and collaborates actively with global research networks. She is known for her dedication to student mentorship, farmer outreach, and protecting crop diversity. Through her research and outreach, Dr. Narina continues to advance horticultural science for a healthier, more resilient food future.
Good morning. I'm Satya Narina from Virginia State University. I hope you are all doing good and in good mood to listen to me on sustainability. And it is a brief note because the topic itself is a too long topic and has a lot done today. And we are almost there in our sustainability efforts for a resilient future. And thanks to Ms. Renka Vallaradu for providing me this opportunity to give you some information and the efforts, ongoing efforts related to sustainability and its future. So sustainability basically comes through diversity. So because we are all diverse, like we are diverse, like we, as a human being, you can see a lot of diversity in USA, like we are all from different parts of the world. And so being diverse, we have different feeding habits and a lot of different things you can see on daily basis, right? So that's besides that, as a human being, we are also with different nutrient intakes, and the body system itself is so diverse with so many organ systems for functionality, which depends on different nutrients, fat, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, antioxidants. The list will go on minerals, and so these is required to the body for normal function. So yes, the entire globe, the earth needs a lot of support from nature, and being part of the nature, we need to support our globe to protect the environment. So the four pillars that as a human being we can help the climate and the sustainability is managing cultivation practices and also maintaining our habits in a healthy way so that we can gain health over the time, and then protecting the climate. So once we start caring for ourselves, automatically it gives itself for the smooth functioning of the climate, and then we utilize our advanced technology and the tools in combination with the tradition that we are getting from our ancestors. So let's see the four pillars and how can we contribute. The first pillar is the cultivation practices. Cultivation practices means first you have to know the right place for growing the right crop. So that is what is lacking here. Not only here in US, it is a lot of problem. So because of some political reasons or for income reasons, the farmer is shifting himself to divert to the crops that are actually not local. So that's where the damage is occurring. So once we know the local region with respect to the soil and also the climate, then we can improve the better quality of that crop. For example, you can grow apples, the better quality apple in India or like upstates compared to Texas or another southern states or tropical countries, right? So choose the right crop for the right region, and then if you place the right crop, then you are good to go. And you can adapt actually, yeah, because diversity is also important. You can adapt the crops that are similar kind from other countries, and then you can utilize the space that we are blessed with here, and using all the environment, all the cultivation practices. The major things that we have to consider here is soil health conservation by promoting crop rotation, cover cropping, and natural practices. Then coming to the fertilization, resource management is the prime concern. So if you manage your resources, just like we manage our family, it is always important to manage the resources. The soil, and are never use too much fertilizer, too much pesticide or herbicide to control for temporary relief. So the permanent cure is the following what plant exactly needs. So don't interfere, like human interference is the main problem. Human always interfere in the crop production and okay, if I apply this much fertilizer and I am going to get more yield and I can sell it and get more money. So that is not the solution. So you have to know what exactly the plant needs or the crop needs. So first you observe the plant before you plan your farming or the crops that you chose. So know that what exactly it needs and apply the quantity. The external support from human should be the quantity that needs beyond that nature gives. Okay, so nature itself gives a lot of stuff to the plant, and also plant knows what exactly it needs and it gets from the nature. So supply the quantities that are not provided by the nature and that plant cannot take from the nature where they are located. So that is the resource side management skill. And if you apply too much fertilizer, herbicide, and anything in extra or anything in low, that affects the weed profile. So you will increase the yield. I am the like I can show you and I can demonstrate you if I get any opportunity in upcoming future. So myself, I managed a plot and without applying anything, and I managed a plot by application and thorough protocols that I was getting. So then I saw I applied weeding only manual weeding only once in last year, and that plot was really doing good and compared to the one that was applied with herbicides and other things. So I was told like when I started 20 years ago that we can apply fertilizer more than the profit price because the weeds are also there, so they need food and they might compete with the crop. So that is not true. And I was like surprised to hear those comments from some of the known people and who are actually in agronomy profession and they are applying more food to feed both weed and crop. So which is the API based and also spoiling the climate. So the soil actually changes its pH and the weeds will compete, new weeds will appear. I saw some profile this year and I saw some profile last year and there is a lot of difference between the kind of weeds I am seeing this year compared to the weeds that I saw last year. Why this is all happening? Because of the change in the pH and the change in the nutrient status of the soil. So always apply integrated pest management, integrated nutrient management, and use efficient fertilizers to enhance the efficiency that have enhanced efficiency. And when you are using the coated fertilizers, I saw that the coating is staying in the soil and also causing harmful effects to the soil. So resource management and careful application of the fertilizers, besides everything, is their kind of importance. That is the major pillar besides the social and economic sustainability and the education that we have to provide to the farmers and the growers. Um, then the second, okay. So what are the crops that were, what are the research that is helping to help the sustainable production? So the solution so far is like drought tolerant crops, heat tolerant crops, short season crops, and crops that are fitting to the degraded soils, and the climate smart perennial crops, and yeah, and the research also is done in the rice, so we can even grow a perennial rice and perennial wheat without any not much requirement of the moisture. So there are crops like that can grow within a month and give you income. So that can fit into the double cropping system. And we can even incorporate some of the lentils, legumes, dry beans into the wheat cropping system so you can grow more than one crop. Actually, regarding a health gain, healthier food from healthy soils and nutrient-dense diets we get and with fewer contaminants. And we will be mentally strong and healthy because if you are spending time in raising kitchen gardens and in community gardening, then you will get your fresh food materials. Besides that, you will also get mental and community health. And your interactions with other community will help you to And the environmental health, actually, when you are using organic ways of production, air and water quality will be purified, and there will be a biodiversity preservation when you are incorporating a lot of new crops into your diet that will help you to solve a lot of the problems at local and national level. And then you are also helping mitigate the climate changes. Then social and community health like food security and also equity. If you are providing the food at lower cost with lesser amount of input that are produced with lesser amount of input, they definitely you will provide lot of food material to lot of people and that creates equity and everybody will get the same amount of nutrients and with the same with different crops. Then maintaining the cultural and the traditional health knowledge. So always provide the health information behind every vegetable and fruit or anything they are consuming out of that farmland or the community market or from your kitchen garden. So educate your family too. So the sustainability in cultivation is not just about protecting the planet. It is also about growing food that heals the body and respects the soil and also nourishes a lot of communities. So some of the farmers, sorry, so some of the farmers actually they are more interested in growing one crop, like a solo crop practice, and I prefer for realization of the crop, like growing more than one crop is always best practice. Because that helps not only to maintain the healthy soil compared to the solo crop. Solo crops always like they take up a lot of nutrients and they won't give back. So if you rotate the crops with a useful nitrogen fixing crops, which alternating with legumes and cover crops, and that helps. And besides that, if you allocate the land area, for example, if you have 10 acres land, divide that area 8 acres, you can grow the main crop that gives you a lot of income, and allocate the remaining 2 acres land for feeding yourself to your community and local markets, and also feeding the livestock you have to grow some forages and to grow some fruits and vegetables, and always do the agroforestry kind of way of like grow some food crops that can feed your family and also the local market. That also gives income. So that is the way of sustainability at farmer level, like local level, and that can scale up to the global level eventually. And then also educate farmers. Health again is another important aspect. Educate the farmers, educate the communities, incorporating the diverse crops and the resources that we have globally, and instead of importing the produce from there. So you have very better climate here, and you can grow all the crops that are grown in tropical countries, and but you have to allocate them throughout the year, like during which period of the year those crops fit in. For example, you have very best leafy vegetables that can provide health. Those are moringa, moringa, and alternate sesame and arra, lenata. So those are actually they fight against cancer, they fight against diabetes, and we are actually dependent on solo crops like spinach and soybeans and wheat. So we are here eating only 3 or 4. We can count on fingers what we are getting in the grocery stores or what we are buying from. Even though some are available, some of them they don't know the value of the other crops. So awareness and education is another important thing. And then coming to the climate protection, reduce the greenhouse gas emissions like the practices that produce gases, and also carbon sequestration and using cover crops and applying biochar and improving water use efficiency. And like I say, soil moisture is another important issue that we had. So always use the sensors and use the mulches and ground cover crops, and that can protect the evaporative, protect from the evaporative losses. And crop diversity, so incorporate the crops that utilize less moisture and humidity. No, that and renewable energy, like use the solar energies and instead of spending a lot of another costly energy inputs. Energy efficient equipment. So those are all sustainable things, and build the climate resilience. and instead of putting and also reserving the bad ones also, like keeping them in control instead of releasing them to the atmosphere. Advanced technology. Advanced technology is like we have to use the technology right now because we are so blessed. And but when we are using, you have to make sure that whether we in a decision making process actually, you have to know where you are using, and you have to find out whether it is cost effective or not, and combine with the traditional practices like following the integrated pest management. For example, if you take the marigold growing companion crop growing with potato, so it is always advantageous compared to application of pesticides. So you can reduce a lot of input there on a large scale, and also using reusing the water, reusing the water from the fish ponds. Like there are so many aquaculture farms, so you can divert that water to the irrigation needs of nearby farmland that you have for growing vegetables or any main crop. Because the fish food is a natural resource of a lot of minerals in it, and that can supply to the plant for the healthy growth of the plants. So there are cleaner, faster, and safer, and more efficient systems for both fuel and for the plant propagation. And those are all climate smart. And there are AI-powered weather predictions. And yeah, I usually check every day morning to see how it is, and then to plan my schedule for that day. And even sometimes a week ahead, so to plan for that week. So all these tools are very helpful at research level and also at farmers level to plan the day-to-day activities unlike the good old days. And like as is good old days, they have some take-home practices. My father was using all the farm-based waste material to incorporate into the same farm for the next cropping season, so that he can reduce the urea that he was applying in the past. So likewise, you have to use the farm produce to produce organically all the crops and to protect the health of the human and also health of the soil. There are some information related to the professional training programs that we conduct here at Virginia State and also throughout the country in ASA and supported by USDA, ERS and NRS and so many agencies here, starting from 14-year-old to more than 50-year-old. And you are welcome to reach me. I am here and to help you, anybody interested in training programs. And if you choose agriculture as a profession, there are so many jobs in the market, believe me. And you can start like $24 an hour. Like you can start your employment with $24 per an hour in agriculture. So you don't hesitate to take this skill, and it is very good one and excellent profession. You will be with nature and you can enjoy the nature and you can protect the nature, and you know what you are eating, and you can tell a lot of people to how to make utilize our resources, uh, um, resources of like crop and carbon and also the other funds that we had to protect our globe as a whole for our coming generations. So I propose and also request for everybody to protect small and marginal farmers, because those are the blocks, the bricks that help us to build the future sustainability in a climate smart way. Now I'm going to show you like an example of the crop that we were growing here. The left one is Bongura and Neomayarno, and it was grown organically. We used only the fish food for them. There is no fertilizer, nothing, no pesticide, anything was applied. And right side is nature, that is a research plot, and I was growing there, and no fertilizer was applied, nothing was applied, and just the soil, the nutrients that are present in the soil, those are only helping them to grow. So these are organically and sustainably grown crops that I can show you an example today. And with that, I am going to conclude. So be safe and also protect the environment. And if you need anything or if you have any questions, please reach me. Thank you.
Next up, introducing our quizmaster, Akash Mishra. Akash Mishra is an incoming ninth grader at Redmond High School. He's deeply passionate about math, technology, and the arts, and he's been pursuing his interests through academic challenges, team projects, and creative expression. He's participated in both the AMC8 and AMC10 competitions, which always challenge him to sharpen his thinking. His interest in technology led him to a robotics competition known as FTC, First Tech Challenge, exploring various parts of engineering programming. His team was proud to win a design award for their creativity. He has participated in YBTC or Meet the Chemist, where his team was a state winner for Washington. Outside of academics and robotics, he has a strong passion for music. The piano is his favorite instrument, and he is especially inspired by the hip hop genre for his clever storytelling. He also occasionally designs both on paper and digitally. Athletics play a fundamental role in who he is. He's found himself enjoying all sorts of sports, especially racket sports, having achieved varsity positions in badminton and tennis in his middle school. As the quizmaster for today's agricultural presentation, he's excited to bring a fun and interactive experience to our audience. His goal is to showcase various elements of agriculture practices that can pave the way for a cleaner future, and he hopes today's quiz will teach you all something new. Let's welcome Akash Mishra.
Hi, I am Akash Mishra and I will be your quiz master for today. There will be questions displayed on the board with four options and a true or false question every four questions. And every time someone gets a question right, they will receive a prize, which is a hat trick. Okay, our first question. What is the primary goal of sustainable agriculture? A, to increase food prices. B, to use as much land as possible. C, to grow food in a way that protects the environment, economy, and society. Or D, to eliminate all fertilizers and pesticides. On the left,
C.
C, let's see. And that is correct.
Mango.
Good job. Next question. By 2050, the global population is expected to reach about 10 billion. How much food will we need to produce to match it? A, 10%, B, 25%, C, 50%, or D, 70%?
25%.
45%, let's see if it's correct. And you were wrong, it's D. We need to produce 70% more food by 2050 to meet our population demand. So okay, maybe next try. Now for our first true or false question. Sustainable farming methods can help reduce world hunger and climate change.
True.
True, let's see. And it is true.
Strawberry.
Nice job. Which of the following is an example of a sustainable farming innovation? A. Monocropping large fields year after year. B. Using GPS guided tractors to optimize planting and reduce waste. C. Planting old crops to prepare soil. Or D. Using more chemical pesticides to boost weeds. Kirby. B. Let's see. And he's right. It's B. Good job. Which practice helps improve soil health and reduces the need for chemical fertilizers? A. Over irrigation. B. Tilling the soil every season. C. Crop rotation and cover cropping. Or D. Removing all plant debris after harvest.
C.
C. Let's see. And you're correct. It is C.
Which flavor? She wants the blue, purple one. No, I want mango.
Thanks a lot. All right, can we have some participation from the back for this question?
Anyone here is allowed to participate, by the way. All right, next question. Which sustainable technology is used to monitor real-time conditions like soil moisture and plant health? A. Drone surveillance and remote sensors. B. Windmills. C. Farm animals. Or D. Manual irrigation systems. A. Drone surveillance and remote sensors. Let's see. That is correct.
Okay, for the next question, somebody who has not participated yet. Yes.
What is one major benefit of buying food from local farms? A. It guarantees organic food. B. It supports farmers in other countries. C. It reduces transportation emissions and supports the local economy. Or D. It's always cheaper than going to stores. Silent. C. C. Let's see. You're correct. It reduces transportation emissions and supports the local economy. Then we'll see the-
Okay, so last question for this session. Okay, so whoever has not participated, please.
Only those who have not participated are allowed to raise their hands. All right, final question. Which of the following empowers communities to use sustainable agriculture? A. Replacing small farms with corporations. B. Reducing it for education. C. Creating fair jobs and improving access to healthy food. Or D. Limiting kinds of compost. C. That's correct. Creating fair jobs and improving access to healthy food. This will conclude our first quiz session. There will be two more later.
Thank you, Akash, for doing that wonderful question. Let's hear from Dhanashree Khan. Kanika Harwal is an upcoming freshman at North Creek High School. She has participated in the Mathologia and Scienceologia, in which her team has reached states. She also plays tennis and has participated in USTA competitions. Throughout middle school, Kanak has volunteered over 50 hours in community service. This has helped her connect with her culture and values. Recently, she has also co-founded a math summer camp nonprofit to raise money for Seattle Children's Hospital while teaching kids fundamental and preventing math. Over the years, Kanak has earned a black belt in Taekwondo, and that journey has taught her fundamental skills such as patience and discipline. In her free time, she's an avid reader and enjoys playing the piano. Tanushree is an incoming freshman who aspires to go into the medical field after college. Over the last year, Tanushree has earned recognition from science competitions like WSCF and NSF. Over the years, Tanushree has completed over 100 hours of community service. Giving back to the community is something she values as it helps her show her gratitude to her community. Additionally, Tanushree is an avid member of the nonprofit organization SEWA Service, musical artist, SEWA, where she helps provide physical education to seniors in the community. Similar to community Beautiful arts are one of Tanushree passions. She learns Bharatanatyam at the Vidyalaya School of Dance and learns to play the violin at the Suzuki School of Violin. In addition to academics and the arts, Tanushree has been playing badminton for 8 plus years. She says that she is serious to learn about peace security and imagines that it's a growing issue in the world today. Please welcome Tanushree and Mukana.
Clean, green, fair, smart, local. What do these words have in common? Hi everyone, I'm Tanushree,
And I'm Hannah.
and the words I previously said all recur back to the powerful system called sustainable agriculture. And what is sustainable agriculture? Sustainable agriculture is the practice of efficient farming that enhances crop productivity and reduces environmental decline. Some of its methods include crop rotation, organic farming, minimizing water wastage, agroforestry, and permaculture.
Now, I know for some people, sustainable agriculture can look small scale and low impact. And yes, sustainable agriculture is all about composting and less machinery. It almost looks it almost looks tacky, inefficient, and even outdated. But sustainable agriculture isn't just some old trend we're trying to bring back. And here's why. Sustainable agriculture helps increase and stabilize food production, improves environmental sustainability, and offers better access to nutritious food.
So, sustainable agriculture increases and stabilizes food production. So, what? We get more potatoes and tomatoes from using sustainable agriculture. That's it, right? All of that is part of how sustainable agriculture increases and stabilizes food production. That's not all there is to it. 41%. That's how much the system of rice intensification, SRI, a widely popular form of sustainable agriculture practice, increased yield from countries like India and Cambodia. Before adopting this form of sustainable agriculture, India was barely producing 2.5 tons per hectare of rice. Whereas now, after SRI has been adopted by India, India is yielding a stunning 3.53 tons of rice. That, I think we can all agree, is a substantial difference. Think about it. With an increase in almost 1.025 tons of rice, almost 13,666 more people can be fed in countries like India and Cambodia. So sustainable agriculture, it's not just about getting the potatoes and tomatoes we eat, but moreover the lives we get to save.
Better environmental sustainability. What does environment have to do with protecting food security? Isn't that a whole different problem? Well, today agriculture is the largest industry, producing $1.3 of food every year and taking up around 50% of habitable land. To keep the arable land we have today, we have to make sure it's reusable and healthy. Not only that, but a better environment helps to improve food production. Sustainable agriculture helps promote the environment by cutting down on greenhouse gas emissions, saving water, and using crop rotation for healthy soil. Today, 26% of annual greenhouse emissions comes from the food industry. 70% of fresh water we use today is for agriculture, and 78% of eutrophication pollution is caused by agriculture. By better managing the earth, we can we can improve sustainable farming and ensure more and healthier food for generations to come.
So after hearing all this, I'm pretty sure we've all guessed that sustainable agriculture betters access to nutritious food. And yes, you guys are all correct. Sustainable agriculture not only produces more food, but it also helps produce healthier and more filling diets for people and families all around the world.
As processed food with added sugar, lots of sodium, and unhealthy fat have become more popularized and cheaper, many individuals are unable to afford a healthy diet. According to the Global Burden of Disease, this unhealthy diet is the cause agriculture, we can produce more affordable and safe food for families and individuals all around the globe.
So let's recap. Sustainable agriculture helps us grow more and keeps it coming. Sustainable agriculture is farming to heal our planet. And sustainable agriculture grows healthy food for all. We have been grown to believe a lie that sustainable agriculture is insufficient, even useless, that it could never help us in our future, whether in terms of nutrition or in terms of food insecurity. But let me tell you this clearly. Sustainable agriculture saves lives, saves land, and most importantly, saves our planet.
Sustainable agriculture may look old-fashioned and outdated, but sometimes the longer and tedious way is the way to go for our and our planet's future. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanushree and Pranav, for that brilliant presentation. Next, we have Aditi. Aditi Kaluru is a rising eighth grader at Maywood Middle School. She serves as a seventh grade class representative and enjoys exploring a variety of academic and creative interests. She is passionate about selling and proud to be the youngest qualifier for the Scripps Regional Sewing Bee. Last year, she participated in the WSSCF Science Fair in the Plant Science category, where she collaborated with two teammates to present their research project. In her free time, she enjoys painting, playing violin, and attending private music classes, which allows her to express creativity and connect with culture. Let's hear what she has to say. Hello everyone, my name is Aditi and today I'll be presenting my Hello everyone, my name is Aditi and today I'll be presenting my project which is eco-friendly and efficient gardening herbicides. This project explores natural alternatives to chemical herbicides for home gardening and sustainable weed management. Synthetic herbicides like glyphosate are widely used but they come with risks. They can contaminate water, degrade soil, and even pose health hazards. This has inspired a growing interest in me to create eco-friendly, homemade alternatives that are safer for people, pets, and the environment. My study focuses on four household ingredients: vinegar, salt, baking soda, citric acid, and which all have known weed-proof properties. So first, I hypothesized that 20% vinegar would be the most effective at killing weeds, especially young dandelions and clover. I expected that salt would also kill the weeds but could harm long-term soil health due to the salinity. Citric acid and baking soda were expected to be less effective and required repeated applications. I conducted a controlled greenhouse experiment using 10 aluminum trays with dandelion and clover seeds. Trays were divided into 5 groups: salt, citric acid, baking soda, and vinegar. After 4 weeks of growth, I sprayed each group with its assigned solution and observed changes in weed health over time. I recorded weed count reduction, visible damage, and time to first effect. So my results are: vinegar showed the fastest and most visible weed damage, often within hours, while salt was also effective, but it posed a serious risk to soil health and prevented future plant growth. Citric acid worked okay, soda was the least effective, mostly on small, shallow-rooted weeds. Overall, vinegar proved to be the best eco-friendly solution for young weeds. This research shows that household ingredients can be a safe and low-cost alternative to chemical herbicides. Vinegar can be used for spot treatments in gardens and community spaces. Salt should only be used in cracks or where areas no future growth is required. These methods align with sustainable gardening and even contribute to UN SDGs, like responsible consumption and healthier ecosystems. Next, I plan to test these herbicides outdoors on different weed types and soil conditions and study long-term soil effects. In conclusion, my study shows that vinegar is an effective, eco-friendly herbicide offering a sustainable way to control weeds while protecting soil, water, and community health. Thank you for listening.
Now it is time for our second quiz session. Start off the second session. What term refers to communities of the wheat that feed itself locally and sustainably? A. Food mileage. B. Food security. C. Food sovereignty. And D. Food chain. Kapesh. B. Food security. That's wrong. It's C. Food sovereignty. Good try. Next question. Investing in sustainable farming only benefits the environment, not people. True or false? False. See. And you're right, it is false. What does organic mean in farming? A. Grown in outer space. B. Grown without synthetic pesticides, fertilizers, or GMOs. C. Grown faster than normal. Or D. Grown only with animal labor. B. B or D? B. Grown without synthetic fertilizers. Yes, that's correct. Good job. Next question. What is a major challenge organic farmers face? A. Lack of sunlight. B. Less access to farmland. C. Higher production costs and lower yields. Or D. No use of any fertilizers at all. C? Okay, let's see. And it's correct, C. All right. Which sustainable technique controls pests in organic farming? A. Synthetic pesticides every 2 days. B. Genetically modified organisms. C. Introducing beneficial insects like ladybugs. Or D. Burning the topsoil.
This seems to be a tricky one.
C. Introducing beneficial insects like ladybugs. That's correct. Good job on getting the tough question. right, true or false? Organic farming is growing globally and offers new sustainable opportunities. Back there. A, true. Let's see. And that's correct. It's true. All right, on to a new term. What is precision agriculture? A, growing crops with the ruler. B, using data sensors and technology to increase efficiency. C, growing only one crop type. Or D, using robots to replace farmers. B, using data sensors and tech to increase efficiency. That's correct. Good job. Which is the benefit of precision agriculture? A, lower pesticide use. B, decreased food waste. C, saving water and reducing environmental impact. Or D, making farming complicated. C, saving water and reducing environmental impact. That's correct.
All right, last two questions for this session.
Which tool is commonly used in precision agriculture? A, smart soil sensors. B, 3D printers. C, conveyor belts. Or D, bicycles. A, smart soil sensors. That's correct.
All right, last question for this session.
For the final question, true or false? Precision agriculture helps farms adapt to climate change.
Whoever gets this question right gets 2 hearts since it's the last one.
Capiche. Capiche. Oh, let's see. Yeah. A, true, let's see. That is correct. 2 high shows. That will conclude our second quiz section. There will be one more after.
All right, that wraps up session 2.
Ashley Hutchins is a rising sophomore at Emerald Ridge High School with a passion for scientific communication and community engagement. Her interest in biology and human health has led her to conduct independent immunology research, earning first place at the Washington State Science and Engineering Fair in both 2024 and 2025. Beyond academics, she has served as a Kumon instructor where she aids students aged 4 to 14 in building foundational skills in math and reading. She has also had the opportunity to intern as a counselor in training at the YMCA and hold leadership roles in clubs like the National Junior Honor Society and her school's Power Team. Through these experiences, she has learned the value of care, education, and service, while teaching post-secondary forward in her pursuit of science and medicine. Let's hear what she has to say about consumer choices.
Hello, my name is Ashley Mahonton. Today, I'll be talking about a topic that affects every single one of us: how our individual consumer choices influence sustainability sustainable agriculture and the food systems that support our daily lives. We often think of sustainability as a large-scale issue for governments or corporations, but in reality, it starts with the decisions we make every time we shop, cook, or eat. Sustainable agriculture is more than just organic farming. It's a holistic approach that tries to balance environmental health, economic profitability, and social equity. It's about ensuring that we can produce enough food without depleting the resources our future generations will depend on. This includes protecting soil fertility, maintaining biodiversity, and ensuring fair treatment and pay for those who work in agriculture. Our current food system faces serious challenges. Industrial scale monocultures are degrading soil health. Overuse of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides contaminate our water. Livestock production is a major source of methane, a potent greenhouse gas. The people who grow and process our food work in conditions that don't respect their rights. While it may feel like our choices are small in the grand scheme of things, consumer demand is one of the most powerful forces in the food industry. When we collectively choose sustainable products, we're sending a signal to producers that shapes what they grow, how they grow it, and even the policies that govern agricultural practices. One of the most impactful ways we can influence food systems is through what we eat. Reducing meat consumption, especially from industrial feedlots, can significantly lower our carbon footprint. Choosing seasonally and locally produced foods reduces transportation emissions and supports nearby farmers. Tackling food waste is just as important. Nearly a third of food produced globally is wasted. Food labels like organic, fair trade, and rainforest alliance are tools that help consumers identify sustainable options. However, they are not perfect. Certification processes can be costly for farmers, and some companies use labels as marketing without fully committing to sustainable practices, a phenomenon known as greenwashing. Being informed about what each label actually means is crucial. Let's take coffee as an example. Conventional coffee farming often involves clearing forests for sun plantations, which harms biodiversity. In contrast, shade-grown, fair-trade coffee preserves tree cover, provides habitats for wildlife, and pays farmers more fairly. By choosing shade-grown coffee, consumers help sustainable ecosystems and livelihoods. There are countless examples of consumer-driven change. Farmers markets and community-supported agriculture (CSAs) have reconnected people with their food sources. Consumer pressure has led to major companies pledging to support only cage-free eggs. The surge in demand for plant-based alternatives has pushed companies to innovate, making sustainable choices more accessible. Of course, there are barriers. Sustainable foods often cost more due to smaller scale production or certification fees. In some areas, these products aren't even available. Many consumers simply don't have the information to make informed choices, or they're misled by greenwashing. The good news is there are steps we can take. We can buy local and seasonal produce, support legitimate sustainable certification, reduce food waste in our homes, and advocate for policies that support sustainable agriculture. While one person's choices may seem small, together they create powerful collective momentum. We as consumers are part of the food system, and the choices we make today shape the future of agriculture. Sustainability isn't just a farmer's job, it's a shared responsibility. To wrap up, I'll leave you with a quote from author and sustainable food advocate Anne LaPay. Every time you spend money, you're casting a vote for the kind of world you want. Each purchase is a small vote for the kind of food system we will pass on to the next generation. Thank you.
from our test. And time for our third and final quiz session of the day. Okay. Sure. Yeah. True or false? Precision agriculture helps farmers adapt to climate change. Oh, but we don't know that answer. Oh, but let's go to it's like, all right. Why is biodiversity important in agriculture? A. It looks nice. B. It prevents overpopulation. C. It protects crops from pests and disease. Or D. It makes farming expensive. Yeah. C. Protects crops from pests and disease. That's correct. Alright, next question. Which farming practice supports biodiversity? A. Planting the same crop every year. B. Clearing forests for farms. C. Crop rotation and hedgerows. D. Using synthetic fertilizers. C. Crop rotation and hedgerows is correct. I'll go. Good job. What does agroecology focus on? A. Maximizing profit. B. Government control over farms. C. Using ecological principles to promote biodiversity and sustainability. Or D. Indoor farming only. Some. C. And that is correct. Nicely done. Alright. True or false? Loss of biodiversity from industrial farming threatens global food security. True. True, let's see. And that's correct.
Okay, next one from someone who has not participated yet.
You'll get two answers.
Oh, double rewards.
Okay, double rewards.
Which consumer choice supports sustainable agriculture? A. Buying imported foods. B. Eating fast food daily. C. Buying local seasonal produce. D. Only eating packaged snacks.
Who has not participated yet? Okay. You. You get double the rewards. Okay, can you please repeat the question?
Which consumer choice supports sustainable agriculture? A. Buying imported foods. B. Eating fast food daily. C. Buying local seasonal produce. And D. Only eating packaged snacks. C. The C is correct.
Perfect.
That is correct. 200. What does food balance mean? A. Exercise after eating. B. Calories in food. C. Distance food travels from farm to table. Or D. Number of times food be eaten. C. Distance food travels from farm to table is correct. Which label indicates environmentally responsible production? A. Low fat. B. Organic. C. Microwavable. D. Artificially flavored. B. Organic. That's correct. Sorry. Good job. True or false? Individual food choices are too small to impact sustainable agriculture. Please. False. Let's see. That's correct.
All right, two more questions.
And there are
Huh? Two more questions.
Final two questions. Why is education important for sustainable agriculture? A. It helps farmers learn eco-friendly methods. B. Helps consumers make better food choices. C. Builds awareness of climate and food issues. Or D. All of the above.
two hiking
D. All of the above. Let's see if it's correct. That's right. Let's all hear it.
No. No. Oh, look.
All right, last question.
This
Final question of the
Say
day.
again, you get double the reward. Keep on.
Final question of the day. How can schools support sustainable agriculture? A. By teaching the use of chemical fertilizers. B. By offering fast food. C. By starting school gardens and clubs. Or D. By discouraging farmer education. C. Starting school gardens and clubs. And that's correct. Good job on that question.
All right, that wraps up our last session for the quiz. Now we'll continue to the next one. Um,
Hey guys, my name is Samarth Mak.
Thank you, Aman, for those questions. Now let's hear from Samar Monday. Samar Monday is a senior in Interlake High School in Bellevue, Washington. He is still figuring out his passions, but is interested in the fields of aerospace, psychology, hardware, and history. He is a black belt certified Taekwondo instructor and has won medals in both national and international matches. He is also a Carnatic vocalist and has sung in several concerts in India and the US. He also created Project Drishti, an online initiative under 1M, 1D, a UN certified organization to raise awareness on short-sightedness and its effect on children's upbringing. He enjoys PC building, gaming, and music production. He also likes playing badminton, volleyball, and soccer. Now let's hear from Scott.
Hey guys, my name is Samarth Mandya and I'm a 12th grader in Interlake High School in Bellevue. I'll be talking about sustainable agricultural practices and biodiversity conservation. This topic is mostly about biodiversity, intergenerational justice, and policy. Let's dive in. Let's start with the scale of the problem. Biodiversity, the variety of life on Earth, is essential to agriculture. It supports everything from pollination to soil fertility. But ironically, agriculture is also one of the biggest threats to biodiversity. According to the UNFAO, 80% of global deforestation is caused by agriculture. And although there are thousands of edible species, 75% of the world's food comes from just 12 plants and 5 animal species. This kind of genetic narrowing makes our food systems fragile. With the global population expected to hit 10 billion by 2050, we'll need more food. But if we continue farming the way we do now, we risk wiping out the ecosystems we depend on. In fact, we've already lost 60% of global wildlife population since 1970, according to the WWF. Let's break down the key features of conventional agriculture, which is the dominant model in much of the world today. highly industrialized and designed for maximum short-term productivity. First, most conventional systems use monocultures, which means growing large expanses of a single crop, like corn or wheat, over and over again. While efficient, monocultures eliminate natural biodiversity, reduce resilience to pests and diseases, and degrade the soil over time. Next, they rely heavily on synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. These chemical inputs temporarily boost yields, but they also pollute waterways, harm pollinators, and degrade soil microbes that are vital for long-term fertility. Mechanization is another hallmark. Tractors, combine harvesters, and irrigation pumps reduce labor needs but increase fossil fuel use and carbon emissions. Most of this machinery runs on diesel, contributing directly to climate change. The crops and livestock used in conventional systems are often genetically uniform and high yield, bred for mass production, not for resilience. This genetic narrowing increases vulnerability. If one disease hits, it can wipe out an entire harvest. Taken together, all these elements are aimed at maximizing yield and efficiency, but this comes at the cost to soil, biodiversity, and to long-term sustainability. It's like running your car without ever changing the oil. It works great at first until like it breaks down. The alternative is sustainable agriculture, and this is how it differs from conventional farming in every key area. First, sustainable agriculture follows the principle of ecological balance. That means working with nature instead of against it, restoring soil life, using compost, integrating trees and animals, and reducing harmful chemical use. Where conventional agriculture focuses on short-term gain, sustainable systems are designed to ensure long-term viability for both the environment and the farmer. It's about farming in a way that won't ruin the land or pollute the water for future generations. Economically, sustainability also means viability for everyone, not just agribusinesses. It supports smallholder farmers, reduces input costs by using natural resources wisely, and creates systems that can adapt to climate change. A big difference is diversity. Instead of monocultures, sustainable farms use polycultures, planting multiple species together to reduce disease, build soil fertility, and attract beneficial insects. This diversity strengthens the entire food web and leads to higher biodiversity on and around the farm. The last piece is social responsibility. Sustainable farming is often more labor intensive and community focused. It values traditional knowledge, fair treatment of workers, and ethical land stewardship. And these aren't just abstract values, they have real impacts. A study published in Nature in 2020 found that sustainable agricultural systems can increase on farm biodiversity by more than 50%. That includes pollinators, soil organisms, birds, and beneficial insects. But even sustainability raises tough ethical questions. Should we prioritize immediate human needs like cheap, abundant food or long term ecological integrity? Can we justify protecting pollinators and soil microbes if it means higher food prices or lower yields for poor communities? There's also the issue of intergenerational justice. Are we sacrificing the future's food security just to maximize today's output? These are the tensions we need to face honestly when designing food systems. Let's look at a real world example, the Northeast Indian state of Sikkim. In 2003, Sikkim made a decision to go 100% organic. By 2016, it had converted all 75,000 hectares of farmland, banning synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, and GMOs. The government supported this transition through compost subsidies, farmer training, and seed diversity rights. They adopted practices like intercropping, green manures, and biopesticides. The results showed that the soil organic matter increased, pollinators like bees and butterflies rebounded, and the water quality improved. Even tourism grew. People wanted to see organic Sikkim. Farmers also reported more pride in their work, but there were trade-offs: small yield declines, high labor demands, and lower public interest due to the higher food prices. At this point, it's easy to look at the benefits of sustainable agriculture and wonder, if it works so well, why isn't everyone doing it? The reality is more complicated. For starters, sustainable farming often produces about 15 to 25% lower yields compared to conventional systems, at least in the short term. That gap can shrink over time with better practices and soil health, but it still raises concern, especially in countries struggling with food insecurity. It also brings up the land use debate. Should we grow food everywhere using nature-friendly methods, a model called land sharing, or concentrate production intensively on some land while leaving other areas untouched, known as land sparring? Both have trade-offs depending on the region and the ecosystem. Then there's the issue of cost and labor. Sustainable food tends to cost more because the systems require more manual effort, like hand weeding or rotating crops. That translates into higher consumer prices. And for farmers, especially small ones, getting certified as organic or sustainable involves heavy paperwork, audits, and fees. These hidden burdens can make it harder to transition, even if the methods are already being used in practice. The transition itself comes with risks. When a farm shifts away from chemicals, yields often drop temporarily, usually for 2 or 3 years, while the soil ecosystem recovers. Farmers also need to learn new systems, pest control without pesticides, or composting instead of synthetic fertilizers. Without training or support, this knowledge gap can make the shift feel risky. Some synthetic materials are needed or short-term insurance if something does go wrong that natural materials cannot stop. Policy is another major roadblock. Many governments still subsidize harmful practices like fertilizer overuse or forest clearing for industrial crops, while offering little support for sustainable methods. At the same time, large agribusiness firms often control seed supply chains and distribution networks, which limits farmer choice. Even when farmers want to grow biodiverse or traditional crops, they may lack access to seeds or infrastructure like seed banks or local food processing. Finally, there's the issue of modernization and terminology. Words like sustainable or regenerative are increasingly rebranded or misused by corporations, which confuses consumers and waters down the original meaning. And sometimes the organic movement can be overly rigid, rejecting all synthetic tools, even the ones that are actually safe or helpful. There are synthetic biologicals and tech-based innovations that could reduce the need for pesticides, but they get lumped in with harmful technologies. That's why experts now talk about agroecological intensification, a model that combines ecological knowledge with modern tools to boost resilience and yield while preserving biodiversity. So is sustainable agriculture idealistic? In some ways, yes. It asks us to change deeply entrenched systems, but it's also realistic in the long term. Industrial farming may feel efficient now, but it's eating away at the foundation it stands on. Sustainability isn't about going backward, it's about redesigning the systems that work for both the people and the planet. If we want sustainable farming to scale, policy needs to step in. Governments can support biodiversity friendly practices by redirecting subsidies, protecting high biodiversity land, and funding farmer education. There are also new tools like payments for ecosystem services, PES, where farmers are rewarded for protecting pollinators or maintaining forest cover. Technology also plays a role. Precision agriculture, biocontrol methods, and even gene editing could reduce our reliance on harmful inputs. But it's not just about policy or tech, it's also about citizens. What we buy, how much we waste, and the political pressure we apply all shape the future of agriculture. Ultimately, saving biodiversity isn't a luxury, it's a requirement for food security in a changing climate. Here are the sources I used for this presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for that, Anjali. Jeevi Ramanjani is the executive director of the Center of Sustainable Agriculture at Hyderabad. Following his PhD, he gave up a well-paying job to establish CSA, a nonprofit organization which aims to find solutions to the crisis that Indian agriculture in today. He's recognized for his efforts in pioneering non-pesticide management in agriculture. Dr. Raman Jainu is agricultural scientist with the Center for Sustainable Agriculture, working on establishing ecologically and economically sustainable production systems in agriculture. Working with small and marginal farmers across the country, his organization could innovate on various practices to improve organic and natural farming models, adapting to climate change, and partner with various state governments for scaling up such practices. Dr. Raman Jainu also works on building community businesses, organizations like farmer cooperatives, producer companies, women-driven enterprises to build their capacities, strengthen their skills and knowledge, and establish support services to strengthen them. CSA also runs a helpline for farmers called Kisan Mitra, which tries to improve farmers' access to public support systems.
We are what we eat, but how many of us know what we are actually eating? How many of us know what food does to the environment before it comes to your plate? How many of you know what food does to the farmer who is producing the food? Do you know? Have you ever thought? How many of you think before eating food about the farmer they have produced it, or the fate of the farmer they have produced? These are some of the questions which grappled me when I was studying my agriculture. After doing my PhD in agriculture, I had a choice. Like every young boy in the 90s, I was also very crazy about getting into Indian civil service. But reading the Indian economy, because I really understood about the Indian economy, reading it for an exam. But finally, by the time I got into the services, I was selected for Indian Revenue Service. But I also had a choice of joining as an agricultural resource scientist. So the tough choice. I made my choice to join as an agricultural resource scientist. Thought I should continue with working with farmers. But the decision didn't last long. I'll come to that. Before I come to that, let's understand what is our food, what we are eating, how safe is our food. All of you saw this news sometime back. Pesticide residues in soft drinks and bottled water, but forgot the next day. Have you ever thought how these pesticide residues come into this bottled water or soft drinks? If bottled water and soft drinks have pesticide residues, the water you use to make your tea and coffee also must be having, but we never worried about it. The news is short. The next day we forgot about it. And this must be your memory. Noodles having heavy metals. How many of you thought, how did these heavy metals reach the noodles? If lead has to be added to the noodles, probably lead is more costly than the noodles. So nobody will add it, but it came, or it come. If Indians used to make noodles had the lead, but the atta which they are making to use your chapati, atta which is used to make a chapati also must be having. And the samosa which you are eating also must be having, right? But we don't connect the dots. Same is the story when you hear a story about pesticide residues in vegetables. You all got terrified. You all get terrified. But forget it in the evening. We don't think food, if you buy in a good place, if you eat it in a good hotel, it's safe. Food is only as safe as it is grown. The term biosolutions doesn't work. The pesticides which are used in agriculture, less than 1% actually kills the insects. 99% gets into the water, gets into the air, and comes back into your food. We look at it very casually. Everything which is happening around us, we look at it very casually. I'll take an example. While I was taking the lunch, I saw people painting it. What is that? Spray paint. Where does it go? Part of it goes under the board. Part of it is into the eating. You're not eating it. It comes there. We are all educated. We think we can make connections. We never make it. And we expect that farmer will make those connections and produce the food for all. Think that's where the disconnect between what we observe, what we know, and how we act is a serious problem. It's not only about the pesticide.
Do you know the eggs you buy in the market? What is the kind of eggs you buy? They're hybrid eggs. Hybrid means they're produced without male and female mating together. That's the reason why if you hatch the eggs, they won't make chicken. But how they produce? They're produced using estrogens. And what happens to those estrogens? When you eat those eggs, they come back. That's one reason for it. The puberty in girl child has advanced. The gynae problems in women has increased. The breast development in men has increased. We know last year, India Today's survey shows that the largest number of plastic surgeries done in India are to remove breasts in men. We are in that kind of situation where food, which is supposed to be healthy, is creating all those problems. It's not just the pesticides or antibiotics or growth hormones which are used in production, but also how they are processed. You might have heard the story last 1 week, 10 days. She was doing rounds in all the media, artificially ripened fruits. But why fruits are ripened artificially? If all of you want to eat fruits in off season, what do they do? What do they do? If you want mangoes in May, how do you eat mangoes? You have to cut unripened ones, ripen it artificially and sell it. The carpet ripening, the bananas which are seen uniformly yellow. What are they? They're all carbon ripened. The apples, the shiny apples which you see, what are they? When were they produced? Where were they produced? Do you know? California apples. You get apples from California. Can you keep it fresh? They're coated in wax. Go back to home, take out the apples in your fridge, just crack it. You see the wax. They're eating all the watermelons which are red in color today. They're injected with injections. Color. They're injected with growth hormones. The milk which is sold, you might have seen in the news for the last several years, the report which says the milk is contaminated with synthetic milk. If you want to have milk at 40 rupees a liter, you are going to get it. We want food cheaper. And there's a competition between the companies. They pay low to the farmers. They also contaminate and then get away with that. All brands of milk sold in Hyderabad were found to have contaminated with the synthetic milk. Give foods. How many of you know about this? How many of you heard about this? Vitivineyard. To tell you simply what vitivineyard is, the pesticide is sprayed from outside, it damages the environment. Like I said, only 99% goes into the environment, only 1% kills the insect. So, scientists thought, why not we produce insecticide in the plant itself? So, plant produces insecticide. So, whichever insect eats it will die. But what happens to us? Who needs that? So, there were several bioscientific questions in front of us, which were never addressed. What you see here, the yellow, white, this is golden rice, which is going to come soon. You know why it was done? They say vitamin A deficiency is a serious problem. So we produce vitamin A in the plant. So if you eat that rice, you can have as much as vitamin A as possible. But you know, vitamin A is a fat soluble vitamin. So it's not just enough to have vitamin A, but you also need to have enough fat. But if you have enough fat in your food, you don't need golden rice. In 2005, we came across a farmer in Guntur who was cultivating wheat building. He was stopped. He said, how did you get it? He said, company gave me the seeds. We went to the company. They said, they are doing it right. We went to the government. Government said, yeah, they are testing. They said, you are not permitted. It was taken off in 2005. 2013, similarly we came across a cotton, a listen tolerant cotton which is grown. No permission. In 2009, when Wikipedia was submitted, there was a public discussion. That was the only time there was a public discussion to introduce whether we needed food or not, and it was banned. Sometimes some wise politicians take better decisions. But otherwise, we would not, by this time, would have been burdened with the GM foods. Today, there is a case pending in the Supreme Court. There is an expert committee appointed by Supreme Court which said, we don't need this for next 10 years, let's wait. There is a parliamentary standing committee which was appointed, it also said we don't need. obesity, diabetes, blood pressure, all are because of the food which you eat. You need to make a right choice about your food. Second, what food does to the environment? Let's look at the ecological footprints. How many of you have seen rice seeds? Almost all. Right? What comes to the mind when we think of rice seeds? Full of water. How much water it takes to produce it? An acre of rice? 6 million liters. 6 million liters per acre of rice, which is equivalent to 100 families annual consumption. One family of 5 members eats about a kg of rice a day, which is equivalent to a tanker of water. 180 showers. All of us want to eat rice. More and more water you need in production of rice. You are making a calculation. How much one meal of rice in Hyderabad costs an environment? It's probably as big as a Colombo Dam. We need to worry about the ecological footprints. It's not just about water, about the pesticides, about the growth hormones, everything. What agriculture leaves before it comes to your plate. Not just that. What it does to farmers. The more and more pesticides you spray, insects get resistance, they don't work. First time you spray, second time you spray, till third time you spray, each time you blink. That's what we are seeing all along farmer suicides. The farmer suicide thing is an increasing cost of fertilization, but the prices are not increasing. You know, 1 kg of rice to produce it costs 2,100 rupees as the government calculation. But today the price is only 4,900 per farmer. Today, a ton of sugar cane is 4,000 rupees. A ton of firewood is 4,000 rupees. How farmers can live? The policies are also lopsided. Today, average income of 83% of the farmers in this country is only 5,000 rupees. Only 5,000 rupees. So farmers have lost their economic independence. Not just economic independence, physical independence as well. This was the photograph which we have taken farmers standing in queue for fertilizers, standing in queue for seeds which they can produce, fertilizer which they can make by composting, but they are not subsidized. If you buy from the market, they are subsidized. Lopsided policies from the government. All these have led to farmer suicides. In the last 20 years, 3 lakh farmers have committed suicide. Every day about 48. What is the point in just discussing about the dark side of the picture? How much and what we can do to change the situations? Some of us who are working in agriculture, various institutions came together and then we started an organization called Center for Sustainable Agriculture in 2004. We started working with farmers, telling them how they can move away from the high external input based agriculture to low external input based agriculture. It was not easy, but what we found is across the country there are wonderful experiences. But all those experiences are caught in ideological frameworks. They don't talk to each other. They're good things, they're bad things, but if they discuss with each other, it would have been good. They never talk to each other. Mainstream institutions never worried about them. So we brought all the practices together, evolved what we call as the sustainable agriculture practices. The first success came in Pulukula. Pulukula is a village in Khammam district which became completely pesticide free. The village which was spending about 60 lakhs per annum, they completely stopped using pesticides. Agriculture minister came. He said, wonderful. What do you want? He asked farmers. Farmers said, make Andhra Pradesh pesticide free. He was amazed. He said, supply item, but what do you want? I said, we are happy with what we have, but just change all the agriculture practices. He brought all the agriculture university scientists and Department of Agriculture together to see and then make a change. They said, sir, this is one village, we can't do it. It is not possible. Then came Yanagavi. This is about 80 kilometers from here. Completely organic village. possible. It's possible. All examples are in front of us. We started also working with women self-help groups in Andhra Pradesh. These are the cover stories of the Down to Earth magazine which tracks the whole change. We started with 225 acres in 2005. Today, it's about 35 lakh acres in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana together pesticide free. 50% of the pesticide used in the state has come down. 50%. We were third in the country in terms of per acre pesticide use. Today we are 20th in the country. This was part of a show on Sachineva Jayanti. Some of you might have seen. In this show, we had an interesting discussion. The other side was a person who was selling he was the largest pesticide seller in this country. Towards the end, Amir Khan asked me a question. I'm fully convinced what you are saying and what you are doing. It is possible to do in India. But how can I convince this man who is sitting here? I said, ask his brother. His brother is the largest organic exporter in this country. And he said, yes, that shows. People see it as a business. So if pesticide says, they sell pesticides. If organic says, they sell organic. You buy pesticides or other organic pesticides or a certificate from us saying you have not used any of these things. Farmers are made into consumers. But what our consumers are doing? Then what we did is, we brought some consumers in Hyderabad together to form a consumer cooperative called Sahaja Ahar. And we brought all the farmers also together to form farmers cooperatives so that they can market directly. Today we have 20 farmers cooperatives who produce organically and directly sell in the market. Well, many of you worry about the organic food prices. The organic Sahaja Ahar food prices are around 20% lower than the market prices. And 75% of what consumers pay goes to the farmers. In the regular market, it is just 20% which goes to the farmers. What do I see from here? I see a level of hope. It's possible. If all of us can join hands together, we can make a change. But it's a long way to go in terms of government policies.